What's up YouTube? My name's Travis and I want to thank you for tuning in to another TDH upload. Today's video is part 2 in a continuation of converting this live well deck into a traditional flat back deck, so that way we can mount our polling platform, our back seat, get all of our rigging ran for our wiring, our shift cables, our steering cable, all that jazz. I want it to be hidden underneath this back deck. So this is going to be picking up where we left off in part 1. If you guys are new to the channel, you probably want to jump back and check out the entire build series or the entire playlist on the J16. You can see from the day that I got it all the way up until now. And if you guys have seen part 1, we're going to pick up where we left off, getting this second cap installed. Cab is still down and we're going to start some glass work today. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Enjoy the video. Well, I want to go ahead and show you guys before we start sanding some stuff down here. This is the cabosil that we laid down last night. It's looking real good, nice and filled in there all the way around the edges. We're going to be doing the same thing with the other live well cap, getting that dropped in, obviously cabosil all the way around, filling that up, and then hopefully we can get some glass on both of these boards here and start glassing this stuff in, and then we can flip it over and start working on the bottom of it. Okay folks, well it's the following day, everything's cured up. I'm very happy with the overall finish on this stuff. I was really hoping that I could load up some chop mat on there and build this stuff up last night, but unfortunately I kind of missed my window because I did this in the sun and I was in and out. I had a couple customers come by. I let the epoxy itself start to gelatinize, and I did not want to risk loading up chop mat on there, laying down another, 15 pump batch of the epoxy and then it not having a nice chemical bond and something happening later on down the road. So I played it smart. I let it do its thing. I came in this morning before I went to work. I sanded a bit of the gel coating down, and I went up here and just kind of scuffed this area up, and it seemed to cure just fine. So that's probably what I'll end up doing, sanding all this with 80 grit, getting it nice and icy and frosty, and then we can start loading it up with chop mount. But that will be another day. Today we're probably going to go ahead and flip this thing over and work on the bottom. I went ahead and cut out my board right here. This is the center board that I'm going to be using. It's going to be replacing this piece here, this rotten guy. And what we're going to do is epoxy up one side, get it all nice and wet, and then mix up some cabosil, smear some cabosil all down the middle of this thing, and basically just load it up full of cabosil and get that sucker to bond down on top of it. And once it's bonded to it, we can lay some glass up on top of this wood and start tabbing in the sides. I've already got my front and rears and both of my sides cut out and ready to rock and roll. I just have to cut out my main sheet, or my main section for the top board. So that's what the game plan is. We're gonna spend a little time on that and hopefully get this stuff knocked out. The board is down, cabosil's down, all smeared everywhere, smooshed in to each edge. I might have to build myself more of a fillet when I go to lay glass down, but we'll see. But it's all in there. It's starting to ooze out. And from the top, it's hard to see, but it got those holes. Yeah, you can't even see, but it started filling up those holes on the bottom side. The main large hole, I'm gonna grind out and start filling with a little bit of cabosil and then glass, so that way it's structurally sound, and that way the Cabasol doesn't crack. I don't have a big old hockey puck of Cabasol just shoved down in there, but she's good. We'll let this do its thing for tonight. Come back and check on it tomorrow morning. Back in the shop this afternoon, went ahead and pulled the clamps off, pulled the blocks off. We got a really nice chemical bond with this Cabasol and this epoxy on this marine plywood to the deck. This thing is in there. Got a nice radius or a nice fillet right here on either side. I'm probably going to add one on this edge, on both edges, so that way the glass can have a nice radius to adhere to rather than doing a hard 90 like I did here. I think it'll just be a little bit better for the structural integrity and then me laying the glass down in this tight area. Other than that, we'll probably step away from the backside for right now because I still need to grind all this gel coating back, and when I tab this in, I kind of want to do everything at once and then finish up adding one more layer here of glass, basically to the whole bottom thing. I don't have to worry about any aesthetics on the bottom. I just need to make sure that it's all sealed up so that way no moisture can get in and ruin the wood. I want it to last another 20 years, 25 years. Hopefully, you know, it'll last when I don't even have the boat anymore. But anyways, we're gonna turn our attention from the back side. I know we worked on that last night. We're gonna hop back in on the front side. When we do the chop mat for the caps, I'm also going to load up chop mat in here. You can see I've got a nice radius with that Cabasol. It adhered nicely. I'm gonna grind this gel coating back, prep this whole area out and fill this up with chop, and do the same thing obviously with the caps. I've got some chop mat already cut out to size, ready to rock and roll for the caps, and the game plan is to do that today out there in the sun, and hopefully we can get all that squared away. I'll probably end up wetting out the chop mat on some cardboard first, get that all wet. Obviously I have to grind and get this glass all icy looking and prepped to take some more epoxy resin and fiberglass, but pretty straightforward. I don't really have much else explaining for you guys. I think you guys are starting to get the routine down, seeing all these videos of me modifying, glassing, etc., etc. So I guess let me go ahead and turn on this time lapse and we'll get right to work. All right, folks. We've got some chop mat laid down. I had to move her inside the shop because right after we got done, well, I'd say about an hour, maybe an hour and a half after we got done laying down the CSM, I was letting the sun bake it, try to kick it off and, you know, help activate that epoxy. Well, Florida decided to do what it always does and have a mini pop-up rainstorm. You guys can kind of see it on my boat cover here, how wet it is, but it sucks because Florida's a humid state. You really shouldn't do too much glass work with all this humidity, but it blew in. What else can I do? And the other thing, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you, is it took about 32 pumps between both of these and the center patch. I forgot to do this patch like an idiot. Didn't even, like, I don't know, register that I needed to fill that hole up. But anyways, 32 pumps. I tell you what, I hear the freaking money counter just going. It adds up so quickly. I do love the epoxy resin. I think I'm gonna keep some around for some of my smaller projects because it bonds the polyester or vinyl ester, but I think after this, all this Carolina Skiff stuff, and depending on what I end up doing with the formula, it's most likely gonna need epoxy to finish it off, but I think I'm gonna make the switch to the polyester resin over the epoxy resin just because of the cost and how much I need when I'm doing these types of projects. For little odds and ends, it's a really good product, but it adds up too fast when you're doing stuff like this. So other than that, guys, I'm gonna let this do its thing. I'm gonna have to come back, obviously hit it again with some 80 grit, just like we did with the front deck. Ice it all up, make it get that frosty look, so that way we can add another layer of CSM on there. and then hopefully that will build us up high enough to where we can start knocking this stuff and leveling it. Either way, that stuff needs to be done, and then we still need to continue working on the bottom side. I've got to wet this board up, glass that, and then glass everything in on the bottom side. So still got quite a bit of work to do, but we're making some progress and hopefully getting this thing out of our way within the next week or so. So little by little, guys. It's the following day, and if you guys couldn't take a wild guess at what I'm about to do, then you haven't been following along in the video. We're gonna start sanding this stuff down, getting it knocked down, but I don't think I'm going to film much of it, just because you guys have seen this work done over and over again in the front deck video and now in the rear deck video. So let me just tell you guys real quick, I got more CSM down here, and basically what I'm gonna do today is what I did yesterday. Grind this up, prep this up, start wetting it out, and load up more chop mat, so that way we can build this up and get ready to knock it down level so we can fair it and call it a day and turn our attention to the bottom side. So that's what she looks like, all wrapped up, loaded up with some CSM. It is sitting here kicking off, starting to cure. It's a little bit chilly here in Florida tonight, so it's gonna be dropping down to the 50s, so this might take a bit longer. Buddy just helped me throw this on the table. Been messing with the center console, figuring out how we're gonna mount the shifter. We're gonna make a little pedestal on it, extend the dashboard, put the garment in there, the whole 9 yards, get that cleaned up. We're gonna change the plans on that as usual, but getting this all squared away so that way we can get this, as I said earlier, finished up. And I'd like to get it mounted on the boat and start going from there, because now that the weather's starting to turn, I'm not going to be taking it out as often. It's good downtime for me to start getting everything fitted up how I want to, so that way we can prepare to at least figure out how we're mounting the T50 back here. There she is, old girl waiting. Still haven't had a buyer on this guy. Got tons of offers, no one's confirmed, but if you're interested, let me know. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up for the night. I will see you guys tomorrow morning when we do more sanding and see where we're at from there. Alrighty guys, it's all the time lapse there. We got the center board all glassed in. We got a nice Cabasil fillet radius there, tabbed all the way over with a nice center tab, and tabbed in on both edges there. So that thing is ready to rock and roll. We're gonna let it do its thing overnight. When we come back, hopefully on Monday or Tuesday, we will feather out all of these edges, get ready to do a second layer on this, and then we're gonna grind these edges also, knock down this Cabasil, prep all this to tab in probably like a 5-inch piece or 3-inch piece, somewhere in between that range on this edge all the way around, so that way we don't have any moisture getting up underneath the wood, and we should be good for the bottom. So there's going to be a bit more grinding, so that's kind of why I wanted to knock that out, so I can go ahead and do all my grinding at once. Just grind all of this, get this all prepped, flip it over, work on the top side, and then hopefully that all that is left is just doing glass work down here. I don't have to do any grind work down here. All we have to do is let it do its thing, and then we can get ready to paint it. Do a little bit of scuffing, nothing major to paint it. I'm not gonna go crazy, but we'll paint the bottom side, and then the top, we will start fairing that out. So anyways, guys, let me go ahead and close up this video, because this is all that I've got for part 2. We'll do part 3 when we start working on that. So well guys, if you made it to the end of the video, I want to say thank you, and I appreciate you watching. Be on the lookout for part 3. Hopefully we're going to be uploading that guy in the next few weeks, and I'm still working on my formula video. We did a little bit of work on that today as well, so hopefully you guys will see that in the next few weeks. So thank you again for watching. I do appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next upload.